I on the trip that I've just been on, someone said to me, one of the funniest things I've ever had said to me was by Pat Dark, who's a sick surfer, and he said to me, "You look like a Katie Simmons fan."
Welcome to the Insiders, greatest podcast on the
In the world.
planet. Huh? We've had a bit of a break. I still am, Matt. I'm in Australia. I'm about to leave, and Vive la France. As I got a email this morning saying that my train is cancelled on my way home. So welcome back to traveling with fun.
There we go.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm cold because England's cold. I've just spent 5 days in incredible southern Portugal. Stayed at the amazing Pure Camp, which we'll talk about on a different poddy, but it was incredibly hot. I'm stupidly sunburned, and now I'm cold in
Oh, so
England.
it was hot down. It was hot down there. The weather was good.
Yeah, I mean, my tan
20?
line, look at that. My,
Unreal.
my tan line is like pretty shocking, but I'm kind of proud of it. But
You
yeah,
should
it's
see
like,
my back, man, because I've been surfing in like a sleeveless wet shirt, and I look like some sort of, you know, truck driver.
well played.
Yeah.
But
It's just 31 every day here.
But that being said, England is cooking, so I'm straight back out of the 3-2s that I was in Portugal, straight back into 5 mil hood boots and gloves because we've got this good swell, but it's with this horribly icy wind. Um, so, but there's waves and it's cooking, so we're good. We're good.
I thought I was going to get cooking waves too on the Friday, but now I don't even think I don't even think I'll get back there for the Friday. I'm going to have to get new trains and everything. So I'll be
Yeah,
back in my 4-3 and booties one of these days.
yeah.
It's not
France.
something I'm actually looking forward to, but I'm telling you, after we'll get to that in my little trip review too. After a month of surfing waves under 3 foot, I'll be happy to come back and maybe surf a couple what I'll consider normal size waves where you've got your own speed.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about optimum waves and this podcast.
And
Um,
Portugal.
Portugal's just run.
Yeah.
Matt.
So I was obviously down south, but Peniche decided to show up as well, and it looked like they had some solid, tricky, um, like weird conditions. But
Classic March, man. It's the end of winter,
yeah, but I love
big,
that.
windy.
I liked it because it was like almost like there was a snippet of Kelly doing a thing, and he was like, "I've surfed way bigger waves than this, blah blah." But there's so many rips and so many currents and so much water moving. Like it was tricky. Like it could not have been easy to surf any of those heats in any of those waves. And I thought I quite like that. You're seeing them tested in a different way.
Oh, that's good to hear because a lot of the writers that do recaps are all bitching about the bad conditions, which I understand. Like it wasn't epic, but kinda everyone bitches about everything. One and two, if it's always perfect, you always get, I guess, the same winner, which is the difference between like what we used to say in when I was a nipper in life saving is in a nipper race in the ocean, you, someone always had a chance to catch a wave and win the race, so you never really knew. As is in the pool, the fastest swimmer will win.
Yeah, yeah.
And we want surfing just kind of stay interesting. It'll
How weird
surf
is that?
everything.
Do you think the same people bitching about that are the same people who also are moaning that the wave pool's back on tour and that the wave pool's boring.
Of course.
It's funny,
Yeah.
isn't it? But I like it like that. Like it's like when you watch other sports, like when you watch like golf, for example, and it's like it's really windy or rainy and wet, and there's these people are pros and they're elite people at what they do, and you see them tested to the maximum of their talents. I think I really enjoyed it. So,
What
and the
does
waves
happen
were cooking
in all
today.
sports, huh?
Yeah, the waves were cooking today as well. So, I thought it was sick. I love the fact that Zhao Chanka and Katie Simmers won it. I on the trip that I've just been on, someone said to me, one of the funniest things I've ever had said to me was by Pat Dark, who's a sick surfer, and he said to me, "You look like a Katie Simmers fan," and I thought that was funny, and I am a Katie Simmers fan,
What does
and
that look like? Was it
apparently,
because you were
apparently a hip.
cheering for her?
I think it means something to do with being a hipstery kind of looking motherfucker, but it's
Well,
stoked that she won.
she's only a 16-year-old girl. I don't know how hip she is.
I had her in my fantasy
I
team.
don't know why people say she surfed like Dane Reynolds either. I don't get any of that. I don't see anything like it. Maybe a backhand Rio sometimes inspired by his, but so what?
I
Half the
think it's
planet.
I think it may be more her demeanor of like her like she doesn't really care attitude. More her demeanor
Yeah,
and how
but
she carries herself. But
they're selling us that she doesn't care attitude
yeah,
as well. Why would she be there if she didn't care? If she
yeah,
didn't
and
care, she wouldn't even
you
go.
watch you watch her Sophie McCulloch heat where she takes off on a buzzer beater and just gets the score. She cares.
I was at a restaurant with like a pub dinner with my family, and I was kind of watching that on the slide, but I didn't have my glasses, and I thought Sophie had it. I wanted her to win, obviously. Sophie
Yeah.
Culloch fan myself, Sunny Coast. Did you see that Rio? That's what like one of the moments I think that stood out the most to me of the whole comp. Did you see that re-entry that Sophie McCulloch did in
What
that heat
in round three? What against Katie or the round three heat?
against Caity? Against Caity.
Yeah, she done a similar one in a different heat as well. But yes,
She did a proper closeout smack, but it
yeah.
was so huge, the landing, that then she got down on her guts. She had like she didn't get knocked off a board. I would have called it a make in a free surf, but I don't know what sort of
Hmm.
score she got for it.
Pretty mental as well that she's doing maneuvers like that when she was barely walking 6 weeks ago.
It's 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 she got operated on, man. I was talking with her coach
Yeah,
after people. Got her operation. Like, if anything, I'm saying like she deserves her spot on the tour as much as anyone, as
well,
much as
big result getting
any
a
girl on
semi,
the tour.
huge result getting a semi final at Portugal. If she can just get,
That was a quarter.
was it a quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, annoying.
Yeah, she's right down there. She's catching them up though. She's still right at the bottom, but you'd have to think they'd give her a wild card with a comeback like that, wouldn't you?
You really hope so. You really, really hope so.
Steph Gilmore's out of the cut.
Steph's got
Super
to.
interesting event then, so we're pretty loose cannons. Let's like touch on a couple of the things who like instead of like the victors, who are the losers? The losers of this comp are like Zeke,
Yep,
Kaloe,
yep,
Stephanie,
yep.
Kelly,
Kelly was the one I was about to say.
Jacko Baker,
Geordie,
Geordie.
yeah. Jacko Baker surfed sick. He done a turn that I was we was watching it with the boys and we was all just like Jesus, but he's just not getting a consistent run through heats, which is a bit annoying.
I nearly thought he could have got past Griff.
Yeah.
Griff kind of, I think, got a bit overscored on a bit of a
I feel like
layback and whatever,
I
whatever.
feel like talking about losers such of the event, Carissa Moore. Um, so the boys I was staying with a month ago were with Yolanda Hopkins, who's Portuguese. She got the wild card. And they were telling me before a heat was surfed, they was like, back her in, get her in your fantasy. And I was like, nah. And to be fair, it was tier C pick, and I picked Macy instead. And actually, Macy got to the semis, so I'm on them. But then Yolanda got Carissa, and we was all cheering her on and stuff, and it was sick. And but Carissa's got to see that as a loss.
Yeah, yeah. What round was it again?
Two, like, oh, well, so round three. Sorry, yeah,
So first chance at knockout.
yeah. Um, and it was sick to see her do well as a little local wild card as well, or like semi
Would you
well.
keep? Would you keep this? Would you keep this Super Tubos event at this time of the year?
I would 100%. I just wish that France was in it as well, but
I
not in
just wish they
March.
push. It's not a thing of wish. I just think they've got their whole tour wrong. I think they should be finishing later and having France and Portugal at our good time of the year. But I'm
Me
happy
too.
for them to not have France. Bugger them. Good.
Yeah.
We've already got too many people here.
Mm.
Surfing's
Yeah.
dying in the arse, huh? It looks like competitive surfing. Like, what do you do? Like, like if you're a junior, you're a held junior, and then now how do you even get to the tour?
A lot of hard work by the looks of
There's
things.
only two. There's only two challenger events at the moment confirmed for this year.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
it's going to go back to the good old days where there was just
Trials.
trials at each main event. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that. That kind
Maybe.
of that kind of makes sense, huh?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And then
But
it's
they'll get
all,
shitty waves because how do you have all the people there for you know what I mean? The
yeah.
trials will be trials could score. It'll be like everything. The trials could score, and
Well,
then the
then
main event get
didn't that
shitty
always used
waves.
to happen? Didn't it always used to happen that the trials would be pumping and then the main event would get shit? Because, like,
It happened a few times in Tahiti.
yeah. And because, like, what was it? Like a week before Portugal started, I was just seeing clip after clip. Like, there's a mental barrel of Conor O'Leary's. There's Italo. There's
Yeah, but
one.
that's see that's what some people get is, for example, say 16 pro surfers put out a clip of a hell wave. That represents about 3 minutes of the
Yeah,
day's surfing,
yeah,
as opposed to 4 days of surfing. You know,
yeah,
it's like if I'm on a surf trip. I've been here in what you'd think would be prime season Queensland for 5 weeks, and we got like a kind of a swell the first week where we got to surf Noosa, so then all the points were snapper and all that would have been breaking, and then there was like second week maybe there was a couple of days as well, but and there hasn't been anything since, huh? Not really, like 3 foot days, and this is prime season here. I've been here
mm,
5 weeks, and
yeah,
maybe next week when I leave, a swell will turn up because it's
yeah,
out work.
yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
Wherever you go in the world, you can turn up and it can be cooking before you get there. You can get there, it can be cooking. I mean, if you go in prime season, you got a better percentage chance that you're going to get good waves, but
Yeah,
there's no promise that you'll get it for 10 days.
yeah. You're definitely stacking the odds in your favor by going at the right time, but there's no guarantees. I mean,
We're
look
going
at
to
Pipe
Kelly's
this
wave
year.
pool.
Yeah, yeah. Look at Pipe this year. Last year, same time, it was the best pipe ever. This year, people saying it's the worst pipe ever. So it's
The
just,
beauty of surfing
yeah, exactly.
and also the ugliness of it.
But back to the event, a little bit. There's some as long as like you said about some losers, there's some big winners like
Oh,
coming.
Jack. Xiao.
Zhao Cheng is so sick. I fucking
He's
love
number
him.
two now. He's unstoppable, and I didn't put him in my team. And honestly, that's because, and it used to happen to me for a small period when I was losing on Fantasy Surfer as well. was when I stuck for one season too long with my mix and my parkos and stuff, and you just got to see the turning of the
Yeah,
changing the guard. Like,
but he was
he's taken over from Medina and Italo and stuff.
he was tier A, and I couldn't. I wanted him on my team, and I just kept looking at it, and I just couldn't bring myself to not select Felipe and not select John. And realistically, I wanted to pick Zhao, but just didn't. And then now kind of regret it.
Yeah, I don't think I did. I didn't do the WSL one. This one, I'm in a fantasy surf sessions one, which is an Aussie one,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
you pick six, which is
yeah.
pretty cool. And I probably picked a team as well um for fantasy surf. And I don't even do that with anyone. I just do that by myself just because I
Mm,
did it. I've done it for 16 years. But Zhao's number two, man.
yeah. Jack
Isn't
Robbo
he?
number one, stretching that lead out as well.
I had Zhao in my old fantasy surfer team. Look at that. I had Zhao and Jack.
That's good effort.
Yeah, but I had I had Injanti who went a little bit, Leo. I went all right in that one, but like, what was I going to say? He's he's in the top five. John and all them, they're not. They can come back easily,
Mm.
but you reckon they will?
Yeah, I reckon there'll be a lot of movement still. There's still a lot. I think there's some big results to come and stuff.
He's still fit.
And
He's got a month. They've all got a month off now because Bell's. Oh no, it's not a month off. They've got till the fourth.
yeah, they've got 3 weeks, haven't they?
3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, it starts on the fourth. Okay, I thought it might have started the one after. So they got 3 weeks. That's not too huge. It's good for someone like Sophie McCulloch though, isn't it? If you're coming back
yeah,
from an injury.
yeah,
Ramsey's out for the year.
yeah,
He's going to go for the wild card.
yeah.
If you had to, yeah, it's early. If you had to pick a top five now, would you leave JL in it?
Um,
Yeah, hard question, huh?
yeah, I think, do you know what? I'm tempted to say yes because there's something about Gabby. There's this dangerous thing where I think Gabby and Italo have this air about them this year where they don't really care, and I think that's really dangerous because they could they could not care and go on win 3 events in a row, and then you're laughing. But maybe they don't care to the level where they're not scrapping for it as much as they was, and that means they're not getting through the heats that they were
Yeah,
before as well. Same with John. I watched a really cool thing with John with it's the Nathan Florence Kyle Rothman Kyle Rothman
I read
podcast,
about it.
and John was saying that like after winning 2 world titles he needs to find a new motivation and stuff. Um he it just doesn't it just doesn't look scrappy enough if you know what I mean. And like, does he need to be? Who knows? Like, but
Yeah, I wouldn't. I find him like he's the best surfer in the world, really, in good waves.
yeah,
And I had dinner with a friend a few weeks ago who's a really good surfer, and he surfed Himalayas that day at
yeah.
during the oh, I never said that name. Spot X during the Eddy, right? And this is a really good surfer. He only got one wave the whole day, and he got squashed on a massive wave. That was where all
Squashed, what a term. I like that. I've never heard that before. She's got squashed. I like that.
and if you go back and look at maps of home with John out at his big left, it's just it's just like watching Superman against normal people.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what he is at Pipeline too when it's good, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
what Kelly was like in his 20s. And now I read a thing on Kelly yesterday, right, where he said when he was younger, listen to this, when he was younger, he used to win an event every 4 events.
That's pretty. That's pretty scary.
Yeah. So imagine for 20 years,
Yeah,
he's winning an event every 4 events. So like now that he's not. Like, he won't pipe. We all know he should have retired straight after. But I guess he's still having fun. If he's good with his ego, what does it matter what other people think if he's not winning? If he
Yeah,
still gets to travel around the world to these great spots, get treated like a king, free dinners everywhere, and then get, you know, run of the lineup with no one out every now and then. It's still like, it's better than digging ditches, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure Kelly will ever be digging ditches, but
I don't think he has to.
the thing is, he gets the other. There's a flip side of it as well. He gets to go and travel the world that he's made all these friends at. Like he probably goes and plays golf with people that he probably cares more about the golf he goes and plays with people that he hasn't seen for
I'm
10 months,
sure.
and then just surfs. But um, what about another? This is kind of like a big winner in terms of psychologically, not really as much result. And I thought it was quite harsh, but Rio Wider, I mean, he had a good result, but beating Medina first round and then beating John in round three, he must take some big confidence out of that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just think now that you got guys like, I just think the new school
do you feel
is
like the fear
Jack.
factor's gone? Like they're not scared of surfing against Medina. Like
Nah.
Griff beat Medina today, and I feel like he doesn't think anymore. Oh no, I've got Medina. It's kind of more like, right, yeah, sick. I'm as good as this guy now. Let's go.
Do you reckon Medina's just going to be spewing? He went
Maybe,
through, hasn't he?
but it's. Have you heard of the analogy about? I think it's a boxing analogy about how about the silk sheets and that it's harder to get up at 6 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk sheets.
Oh, for sure. Hey, or maybe, do you reckon his ex-wife, the one last year, kind of stole his power? Like that famous, uh, was it Greek, Latin? Who was the one where they cut his hair and he lost his strength?
Ah,
Hercules?
Hercules. So yeah,
Oh, he's lost his strength.
maybe. Yeah, but then some of the shit he's been doing, like
Yeah, they
the
still can win. Don't worry. We
yeah,
all know that when waves are good, but before, when the waves weren't good, Gabrielle used to win. And
mm,
that's why it's interesting to always bring Kelly up, because it didn't matter for Kelly for 15 years, full stop. It just didn't matter
yeah.
if it was shit or if it was good. He still won.
So let's go there with Kelly down a rabbit hole that we probably shouldn't. But
Do
like,
you reckon? He said he threw out of that, this is the last people seeing for the year. I reckon just say I'm wrong. Let's say I reckon he won't go to Bells and that. Or he'll wait and see if it's got a good forecast. And even if it's got a good forecast, it's not really his cup of tea, is it?
mm, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because he's got what the joint most successful surfer out of Bells with Mick,
Do you reckon he'd wait and see what the heat draw is?
maybe. Knowing Kelly, he would do that, wouldn't he? And stuff. But I feel does he just want to? I don't know. Like, I don't really know how to say it, but it's kind of just like, is
Be a
it?
journeyman.
Yeah, is it worth it? Or, but then for him, it probably is because he'll probably like the heats he gets to surf against Leo and Jack and Kanoa and these people that
Yeah,
he kind
that's
of,
fun.
yeah,
Like people, I don't know. If he's all right with his ego, what does he have to worry?
exactly.
Like guys like guys here like Mick retired, right?
Yeah,
And if you're not in Australia, people might think, oh, what's Mick doing now? He's retired. You like, they don't see him. He's on telly nearly every night, on ads, on TV shows. He's building he's building buildings on Coolangatta Hill. Like, it's next level. He's
yeah,
next level from surfing. Surfing was just kind of his. He's now like a sports personality, like
yeah,
what they have in the country, and he doesn't have to do another event again. And Kelly can and could do that as well as surfing. Huh?
for
He
sure.
could just say, I'm coming in to commentate if there's a hell event, and he still free surf with the guys before it, fly in and say, yeah, give me a wild card for this one.
Yeah.
They'll give it to him.
So do you think that? And I have a thought on this, but say Kelly doesn't make the cut and retires, should every single wild card be offered to him first refusal moving forward?
Yeah, for how long?
For as long as he wants, it's Kelly.
Yeah, well, let's say Pipe, yes. Pipe, J-Bay, Chopu, and even J-Bay, I don't think he can win anymore. I think
Yeah,
he could make I think he could make semis or quarters if it was all time J-Bay. But that's if you don't run up against.
I don't think he could. I honestly don't think he's got a chance against anyone unless it's a big barrel. Because like Jackson Baker's rail game would blow Kelly out of the water. Like I
It's
think
a big statement.
I believe it. Like when you watch Jackson Baker surf the he surfed against Kanoa at sunset, I think
Yeah.
he, I don't think Kelly's best rail surfing is anywhere near that anymore.
And Jackson might get knocked off tour.
Yeah, which
He
is
could still
sad.
go really good at bells. I mean, look, people did really good runs. What's his name? Callan Robson. He had a hell event, semis. They put
Yeah.
themselves straight back in the conversation.
Well, who done it last year? Was it Matt McGilvery last year? He had
Yeah.
to get to the semis and he did.
I
Um,
don't think he'll do it this year, but you never know.
and what's her name? Isabella Nichols won it to stay on tour, and Gabrielle LeBryant made the final to stay on tour and make the
She
cut.
looked really good in this comp too, Isabella
Yeah.
Nichols. I saw a couple of her turns. Some people just like they have those moments, flashes of brilliance,
Mm.
like me and yourself, and then they can't just pull the flashes up all the time, which is what now Jo and Jack's doing. Even though Jack just he doesn't ever look like the best person in the event,
Nah.
and he
He's
keeps
just
making finals.
but he's just in this zone of winning heats. Like winning is a habit, and I think for Jack right now, it's like it's a habit. But
And as long as there's a tube, he'll
yeah,
find it, and
but
then he gets scored.
say Jack continues, he goes into trestles, and um, and he's got this massive lead. I still wouldn't put him as favourite,
No,
depending who else is.
if it was Jack Griff final at Trestles, who would you back?
Griffin.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. That's why the
weirdly.
tour sucks. That's why the tour sucks, really, doesn't it?
Well, if
Because
it's Jack, if it's
if it
what about
was
if it's
If it was John Felipe in the final at Trestles, who would you back?
um, yeah, that's a hard one because if it if it was average trestles, then you have to back Felipe. But if
Yeah,
it was,
so the tours, I don't know.
what about if it was, what about if it was trestles from last year? So average trestles, average to semi decent trestles, and it was the top two now. So Jack and Zhao.
I'd back Joe,
Yeah,
I think. Huh?
I think I
I
would
think he's a
too.
little bit more new school maybe than Jack in his calves. He might have a little bit more torque.
Mm. But then I do think
But
Jack's got the much better heat strategy type.
if it was Ethan, Jow, a perfect Trestles, 4 foot, who would you back?
Perfect trestles, I'd back Ethan.
Yeah, so would I. And if it was Caity, Steph, who would you back? Perfect
Steph.
Trestles.
Steph every day of the week. Steph against any female out there. Yeah.
If it's good. If she
Yeah.
makes it.
I don't think
Yeah.
she's making it.
I don't think she is either.
I think she'll make the cut. I don't think she'll make top five.
She could win Bells. She could win J Bay. She won't win the pool because she's not a good enough on lefts, is she?
No,
She's not going to
she could,
win.
but
She's
she
not going
could
to win
win.
Chopu.
She'll win El Salvador.
She can win El Salvador again, but there's not enough. So she can still make it.
Yeah, she could
She made it
easily make
last
it,
year.
but that, like we've just said, she could win J Bay, she could win El Salvador, she could win that. Last year, what was it? Out of 10 events, there was 8 winners in the women's. Like it was so spread. The talent's so good.
Kanoa's not in the cut.
Is he not even in the cut?
I don't think so.
Far
Hey,
out.
so this is our short flash Portugal
Yeah,
edition, and then we'll start up our travel series again because that's what the majority of surfers, I reckon, are interested in these days, including ourselves.
for
Have you got
sure.
some do's and don'ts this week?
Yes. Yeah. So that's the one thing about being on a trip is you get to stack the do's and the don'ts. um, so yeah, my do's and don'ts probably go in together. So which makes this flash episode a bit quicker as well. Is do and don't watch the surf for too long and stuff. Like basically, I had this thing where I watched it and it looked a bit weird where we were, and a few people were surfing and they weren't making it look great. But so I kind of talked myself out of surfing and then talked myself in being like, no, you should get in. You never know until you go, all of that jazz. And then was like, nah, just it's not worth it. Save your energy. And then was like, oh, you should get in. And then by that point, the people I was with were then like, right, we go in, and they'd surfed and stuff. And I was kind of then
And you
like,
didn't surf.
nah, just on one afternoon and made up for it and stuff. But at the same time, the rest of that afternoon, I was just sat and I was like, you're an idiot. You should have just gone. Like, like just get in. So do just get in and give it just go send it, and like not send it as in like take off on huge waves, but just get in and don't talk yourself out of things that you know you should be doing.
Well, I'll keep it simple and follow you on that one because I've had that one for a while here, where I've just been surfing every day and even driving 200 kilometers return every day because what is he going to do? Right?
Mm.
If you can surf and you got opportunity, do it. Full stop.
Yeah,
And like why bother training? People want to like how much time you got in a day? Why bother training instead of surfing when surfing is training?
yeah,
Every surf you have, you're going to get faster at paddling. Your shoulders are going to get better. Your lower back muscles are going to be trained and everything. And then you just got to manage your stretching.
yeah,
Like, some people, I guess, like going to the gym. Like, I don't take that away from them. Some people like going to the gym, but I don't think there's no better training for surfing than surfing. And there's also
absolutely.
no better like evacuation of stress and benefits for your mental health than getting wet, doing a couple of duck dives,
Yeah,
even if it's one wave. You've done your
even like
activity, you get a bit of hunger up.
yeah, and there's nothing better as well for a little bit of an ego check of like getting a bit of a flogging, you know.
And
You-
every person in every landlocked city in the world would kill to have that opportunity.
yeah,
So you got to do it for them. You got to do it
yeah,
for our brothers that don't get and sisters that don't get to do it every day.
exactly,
And
exactly.
even we don't get to do it every day either. So when you can, you got to.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Just just get in, don't dilly dally, go surf, have
And
fun.
one more, don't book a train in France.
Full
Oh,
stop. Full stop.
I'm going to send you some pictures, mate.
Send me some pictures. Right. Thanks,
The
everyone.
biggest organisation of strikers in the world, French Railways. Thanks.
motherfuckers.
Au
Au revoir.
revoir.